You just put it in the chat, yes or no? Is it audible? Yes, okay, good, perfect. So we now going into here, the lumped model. So basically, what I was trying to tell, if I take this extra section, for example, it is slight lag is there. Let us come. Yeah. So here, if I take this extra section and if I add it here, what happens? If since this resistance is changing, it is no more. It is a constant R because now it is the in this section the resistance is added with the this section resistance. So now R is not this constant. It will be some other resistance. So that what is the idea is I'm going to break this not physically, virtually break this and try to make the smallest section such a way that these RLGC are constant for that section. So the section, the size, it will be taken such a way that I told in the last class, the length is very small compared to the wavelength. So that transit time effect and distributed components can be avoided. So I can write the equivalent models. So that was the idea. So basically, I'm going to take a smaller section in the longer transmission lines, and in that section, this RLGC are constant. So with that, these are the different types basically. So we can see that here in the lumped elements. So we have that voltage and current across the conductor does not vary. So since it is not vary, so it is better to do the devices, basically these small lumped elements in microwave integrated circuit. So I can use this kind of devices so that there won't be any variation of voltage and current when it is inside the device basically. So the device property will be the output is dependent on only the device, not for not based on the V and I basically. Okay, so that the idea is the functionality should not be randomly changed because of this the length issue. Okay, so that is the reason the microwave devices usually designed in the lumped elements. So distributed elements voltage and current varies across the conductors and elements. The phase change at transit times cannot be neglected. Okay, that is what the takeaway. So the phase change at transit times cannot be neglected in distributed elements. So the example of distributed elements is the longer coaxial cables, fibers. So generally that length is actually very high compared to the operating wavelength. So the voltage and current will change along the direction, along the conductor. So if you take this calculation, for example, if you take typically this frequency and if you calculate the wavelength is typically 1 meter. Okay, so if it is a 1 meter, if it is a 50 centimeters, so it's a off cycle if it is taken. So basically it's a lambda by 2, right? So only 25 centimeters here taken. It is lambda is 1 centimeter. Lambda by 2 is typically 50 centimeter. Okay, lambda by 4 is something like 25 centimeters. So if you take only quarter wave, for example, like this off wave, this is what you say it is. This is still quarter wave. Okay, so we will say till now it is a for something like this. Probably I'll write it here. So if you take one cycle, this is my full lambda from here to here. Okay. So this off is lambda by 2. Okay. This off is lambda by 4. Okay. So you can take any length and you can calculate what is happening basically. Okay. So these effects will be distributed elements. This is the wavelength is now comparable with the length of the cable. The cable length is just 25 centimeters, but the wavelength is typically if you calculate for a frequency 300 megahertz, the frequency, the wavelength is coming typically 1 centimeter. So in that case, my wavelength 1 meter, not a centimeter, 1 meter is comparable with the cable length 25 centimeters. So there are voltage current is going to change vary across the cable. So this is what are distributed elements. There are MIC, microwave integrated circuits. Normally we use the different lumped components here. Okay, and also these are all the transmission lines. So this transmission line generally I cannot follow this rule. The length is very small compared to lambda that I cannot follow this here because the line, it has to be more basically, because it has to connect with some one component to other component. I cannot always satisfy this is a lumped components. Only lumped elements will be there in the devices, like a chip capacitors and feed effect transistor chip and ceramic substrates, choke inductors. These are the lumped elements. But generally for lines, no transmission lines, it is a distributed elements. Okay, that's what is given here. It is basically a distributed elements. And Wilkinson divider and all, we can slowly explore. There are a lot of microwave devices. So what it actually do, it will divide the power. Suppose if you have a 1 milliwatts, I cannot have watts. It is actually is more power. The chip cannot handle like a watts power. It's typically milli or microwatts. So the power will be divided between these two both. So 0.5 milliwatts, here 0.5 milliwatts. Okay. So this is a typical MIC circuits where this both component are exist. That is lumped component and also distributed. So I could have some poll questions. Probably I have not included that. So I think we can have some exercise for kind of for your understanding or for your for your reference. We can just type it. What is the lumped element? What is the distributed elements? So I will give this option. For example, this lumped element is nothing but the length is, for example, very small compared to lambda, or this is first case, this is second case. Okay, the length is uh, comparable to the lambda. Third case is length is very high, greater than lambda. So these are lumped elements. What should be the answer? First, second, or third? Okay, you just put it in the chat. This is for lumped element. My handwriting is not good because I'm using a mouse. So you can just excuse me for that, because I cannot write it fully. So probably I can share it in the other screen. So these are lumped elements. So what is the condition for lumped elements? Either first, second, or third, where L is very small compared to the wavelength, or L is comparable to the wavelength, or L is very high, greater than wavelength. Okay, so put it in the chat. And similarly for a distributed, okay, they wants you to analyze it, whether it's right or wrong, that is a different. Whether if you're able to understand this only is the crux of high frequency circuits. Okay, this is finite thing, simple thing, but it will help in the longer run. Just if you understand what this do, so you can easily, whoever asks, you can easily answer the, answer for, even though someone is waking up in the middle of sleep. If you ask what is the lumped, what is the distributed, so you are able to tell with the confident, with the backing of concept, understanding of the concepts, you can tell immediately. So that what idea. So these are distributed elements. In the second case, this is the first case. Probably I will use the screen, secondary screen, and so first case. Okay, very good. That is for lumped. For a distributor, you take all the three cases. Which case is for a distributed elements? There are 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for distributed, which case we call as a distributed elements? Probably I will just present another screen. Okay, I'll write it here again. 1 second, probably stop. I will present it from here. Let us see. So the question is this: there is a distributor and a lumped. You've answered already lumped element. So what is the lumped? There are three cases I'm going to give to you. The physical length, that is the physical length is can be a device length or transmission line length, whatever the physical dimension. Just you can imagine as a layout, the physical size, that is a L. So L is very small compared to lambda. L is comparable to the wavelength, or L is very high compared to the wavelength. So you have told this is a first answer, so exactly correct. So you have told this answer. So the physical dimension, if you take a resistor or chip resistor, something like that, or inductors, the physical length L, let us take L1, L2 or L3, this all L will be less than operating wavelength. So what is operating wavelength can be found from the operating frequency. So if the frequency is very small, not a problem. The wavelength become higher, so not an issue. But whenever frequency is getting higher and higher for a higher frequencies, this lambda will come down. Since the lambda is come down, I should take care my length also should be coming down. Okay, so I have to design very smaller device for higher frequencies. So the same case for a distributed elements. You can put it in the chat. For example, I'll write it here. So this 1, 2, 3. So for a distributed element, the physical length of the device should be high. Actually, naturally it is very less than lambda, or L is comparable to the lambda, or L is greater than lambda. So which are the cases for a distributed elements? So distributed elements, I'll tell you, this is basically uh, the impedance is going to vary. The impedance or voltage and current is going to vary, and voltage, current or impedance is going to vary. Phase also is going to vary. Here V I is that phase is not much variations. Okay, so typically it is a constant for a lumped element, so that it is easier to design lumped element devices because there is no voltage, current, or impedance or phase variations on devices. But in a distributors, everything varies, so it is a little challenging to control, analyze the distributed components. Okay, that is a quite that is a fact. So distributed components or elements is we have to take care basically because this voltage, current, and impedance and phase also is varying. So we have to be a little bit cautious to basically to design this. So what is this answer for? What is the condition for distributed elements? Either it should be L is very smaller compared to the operating wavelength, or L is comparable to the wavelength, operating wavelength, or L is very high greater than the wavelength. So excuse me, I'm just getting another call, and so you think about it, think over it. I will come back. So what is the answer for this um, for a distributed elements? So whenever there is operating wavelength, that is a area of interest. Whenever the operating wavelength is become higher and higher, comparable, sorry, lower and lower, comparable to the no, the length of the physical length of the device, or sometimes the physical length of the device is more than the operating wavelength. So these two cases also called as a distributed elements. Okay, with the respect to three, some of you told the third case, and with that, even sometime we say if the operating wavelength is comparable to the physical device length, that is L, or sometimes if it is physical dimension is more than the operating wavelength. So that time also we call as a distributed elements. That is very simple as that. You keep it in mind. The one of key aspects of distinguish these two elements is operating frequency. Okay, so even microwave frequency band, I've told you, from starting from megahertz to the gigahertz to the terahertz frequency, only the operating frequency is going to vary, become higher and higher. So when operating frequency higher and higher, the operating wavelengths become smaller and smaller. So whenever it's smaller and smaller, it becomes equal to the dimension of the device or connectors or cables, or sometimes it become very smaller. Operating wavelength become very smaller compared to the operating, compared to physical dimension of the device. So it is comparable, and sometimes become very smaller wavelength. Okay, so the physical size of the connector or devices become higher. So in both cases, what happens, voltage and current, we can experience that there is a change during the transmission, and impedance and also phase. So that is called distributed elements. Okay, so with that, I'll quickly go into the no, the circuits. Let us start with here itself. So what I'm going to do, there are I'll write it here. This is my transmission line. So I think I'll take another color, another page. Probably I'll take some dark color. Okay, so let us go with slowly, like one by one. Just this is my transmission line, and there is a voltage is V of Z. When coming out, it is Z plus del Z. The current is I of Z, and coming off from I of Z plus del Z. Okay, so here there are primary constants inside the lumped model. That is what we say here is, for example, this section. Okay, so here the models are R, L, G, C. Okay, so this is R, L, G, C. So here uh, this is able to understand this R and L is series. So because that resistance loss, and also there is inductance behavior of the cable, and G, C are parallel. This is basically due to that the parasitic capacitance between the two conductors, and there are leakage probably possible between the conductors. So there is a G and C is parallel. So here the voltage input and output will not be the same. Okay, will not be the same. So it looks strange since this is a model of two wires, just two wires. So if you take typically at low frequency, if you supply, for example, 5 volt AC, okay, AC supply, and there are some load or just two wires. If you apply some the 5 voltage, and end of the receiving port, you expect the same voltage with the same phase. That's obviously there is no components exist in the two wire, because it's simply two wires and nothing is there. But it becomes complicated, or it is changed for high frequency model. So when you have a high frequency model for the same two wire lines, so these components RLGC, RLGC will be added. This is high frequency model. Okay, so this high frequency model we call as a lumped model. of learn to model of distributed elements. Okay, that's what we are seeing now. Okay, I'm telling, repeating the same thing because this is something a base to go further and further. Okay, so here this RLGC is a prime importance for high frequency model for a transmission line. So this RL is a series and GC is a parallel. And you usually tell R with respect to del Z, like with respect to the meter, ohms per meter, and L is Henry per meter, and G is Siemens per meter, and C is Farad per meter. So all these variables we say with respect to the section, because this is only valid for only this section, del Z. Okay, it is only for del Z. So once I model this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this as it is. So I'm going to start my analysis. Okay. So I'm going to start my analysis. If I take that, what analysis I am going to do. So generally I'm going to equate this, the voltage, the input and output voltage and current and output current with using Kirchhoff voltage, Kirchhoff. Okay. Kirchhoff voltage law and Kirchhoff current law. So what I'm going to do, supply voltage VFZ, which is equals to the drop of the voltage. So drop here in the sense here is the drop between these two series elements, right? So what is the drop? R of R into del Z. So each I will add with the del Z. Okay. So R into del Z. And what is the induced EMF? One second. Just write a KCL and KVL, whatever you just comes to your mind. You can start writing it. So I will come back and just write a KCL and KVL of this. Excuse me for that. So how to write this KVL and KCL? So V of Z, and that is the supply voltage, which is equals to the drop the voltage across the resistor. Okay. So R into I, V equal to IR, right? So what is the current across this resistor is I of Z, and how to write the voltage drop across the inductor. So this L into Z inductor. So the voltage drop that or induced EMF across the inductors, I can write, for example, the L del Z times the inductance value times of dou I by dou T, right? Change in the current. So that is the induced EMF across the inductor. So same equations, whatever you have used earlier in the lower frequency. So the inductor voltage drop across the inductor, I can write as L into del Z, dou I of Z by dou T, okay, and plus, so it's done actually, which is again how much voltage available here, that is nothing but plus V of Z plus del Z. Okay, so this is one way of writing it, and so what I can do is I can bring this V of Z to here. So V of Z plus del Z minus V of Z. So can I write like bring other terms here to the other side? So R into del Z I of Z and plus L into del Z dou I of Z by dou T. Okay, so here I can write this one way of writing it. Probably I've written this extra thing. So Z plus del Z. Z plus del Z. Okay. So here either this I can write V of Z or sometimes it will be written V of Z comma T. Okay. This is because this is a time component also present for a variable. Because the voltage, sending it voltage, normally it is two dependent variable. Because as I mentioned earlier, this will be like a wave. The voltage, sending in voltage will be like a wave. So it will have both. It will have a distance component Z and also time component t equal to 0. So when wave is starting, so t will be here. So when wave is propagating after time, some time, for example, t equals to 2 second, the wave can be traveled here, could have been traveled something like this. Okay, so again it has a two dependent variable with the distance and also with the time. So sometimes the same equations we would be writing like this: V of Z comma T as R into sorry, what I can do here is same equation. I can rewrite this like V of Z plus del Z comma T minus V of Z comma T equals to minus, okay, minus R into del Z I of Z comma T and plus L into del Z dou I of Z comma T by dou T. Okay, so here I can see one small no one basic relations of it. So what does that mean? Is that, so is that okay here V of Z or I of Z, right? Okay, so okay, thanks for asking questions. So it will be more interactive. So V of Z, so basically if voltage is changing, how it is will be there after some distance. For example, is it equal to 5 centimeter? What is my voltage? Because why I'm have to see that is it also coming into voltage. Normally in the lower frequency circuits, right? We don't relate my voltage and current with respect to distance, because the voltage and current doesn't have my any transit time effect, or because my voltage and current actually the wavelength will become very high, so it will be very high. So because that frequency is very small, so the voltage and current difference is unnoticeable with respect to distance, because the wavelength is very high. But things becomes little complicated or little added if the wavelength becomes smaller and smaller because of high frequency. So when wave becomes very smaller and smaller, so voltage I should relate with the distance V of Z. Okay, so this is also time component is there. So I'm adding V of Z comma T, because with respect to time also it is changing. Okay, so the voltage current of sending end, we relate with two variables, that is with respect to the distance. Instantaneously, if it is a sending end, you can take this as 0, is it equal to 0, or you could have written V of 0, I of 0. And receiving end, let us take 100 meters. We could write V of 100 meters or V of Z at Z equal to 100 meter, and I of Z at Z equal to 100 meters. So that way we can write it usually the voltage and current after some distance. And similarly, all the components we relate with that del Z. So for this section, if I break this total section into small section, if it is 1 centimeter, something like that. So for this R, what is the value for 1 centimeter? Okay. So this is actually the brief idea about lumped model. So very straightforward. Maybe I'll rewrite it because I've told in a like the lot of written in one page. You might have probably would have think about a lot of things. Actually, it is very straightforward. There is R, L, G, C. Okay, these are the lumped models for high frequency telephone lines. So these are all high frequency. Always I will tell these are high frequency lines. Okay, high frequency RF or microwave, RF or microwave. Okay, for why, since it's a higher frequency, wavelength is very small. So the wavelength become now comparable to the physical length. Sometimes it will be more, will be less than the physical length. Okay, some because the frequency is getting higher. So it is now comparable or less than. So that's the reason the voltage current will change. So we give that name V of Z comma T. Here I of Z comma T. Here V of the receiving end is V of Z plus del Z comma T. And this is I of Z plus del Z comma T. Okay. So this is a lumped model for high frequency circuits. So I'll apply KVL and KCL. So when you apply KVL, KCL, whatever I've written there, this is the voltage, supply voltage, and it is equals to the drop of voltages across R, across L, and output. Okay, and KCL, how you write? The input current, which is equals to the current across this and current across this, and how much current is going. Okay, so that way if you write it, so we have some another 15 minutes. So what I will do it, I'll just go through some slides point, and I'll stop with the KVL and KCL, you to analyze it. Slowly start analyzing it. We will come back again. This is very starting point of the transmission line equations. So the lumped model should be written. After that, we have to apply KVL and KCL, and the first two equations should be you can easily write down basically with the understanding of whatever we have seen so far. Okay, so here I will present. Okay, I'll go to the. Okay, so this is a transit time effect. I will share the slide. This is the same concept is revolving around. So how to take care of this rise and fall times whenever this is a transit time delay is apparent. So as I told that we have to design such a way that the lumped elements or distributed elements, if it is taken care, I just go through that. It's a similar line. And again, the interconnect in ICs also we should take care of these designs basically. Okay, so the physical dimension of the interconnect should be taken care. That's why we told no finally. So I'm just skipping this intermediate calculations, but you can see that some factor should be deciding the distance between these two interconnects. Okay, I cannot keep on increasing. One IC is there and another IC. I cannot keep it on my own. There should be some the maximum distance. What I can keep it only 11 millimeters. Okay, that is typically 1 centimeter. So if CMOS buffer rise time fall time is 0.5 nanosecond, so the distance between two ICs interconnect should be supposed to be the maximum is 11 millimeter. It should not exceed 11 millimeter. Okay, the distance should be minimum. So these constraints coming because of this transmission line. Okay, so this is same thing whatever I told you. So this is a V of Z comma T, and current across voltage across this transmission line. This is current through the transmission line. This is sending end and receiving end. So this is section, and I'm telling that the sending end current and voltage, which is not equal to the receiving end current and voltage. And he wondered, like, no way, the Kirchhoff law tells me the current sending and receiving and voltage across should be equal between these two, because there is no component is connected, interconnected. But things get complicated when we have operating in higher frequency. So that's what I told. There is R, L, G, C with respect to del Z. So you can write V of Z comma T and I of Z comma T, and V of Z plus del Z comma T and I of Z plus del Z comma T. So straight away we can go to the KCL and KVL. So this is called primary constant. Okay. So how to find out load and voltage and current? So the answer is telegraph equations. So if you apply the KCL and KVL, you'll get a telegraph equations. So these telegraph equations applicable for high frequency transmission line, RF connectors, audio frequencies, even telephone lines, and sometimes little bit in kilohertz or megahertz frequency also, this telegraph equation is applicable. Okay, this is derived by Oliver Heaviside. As I told, he's a self-taught electrical engineer, mathematician, and physicist. He's changed the face of mathematics science for years to come. So this is a major contribution from Oliver Heaviside. So these equations derived by Oliver Heaviside. Okay, so he started with the lumped elements. He started deriving it. What is the relation between output voltage and current to the input? So what I'm going to do it here is, yeah, this is again the product of it. So I'm going to these equations. So before that, remember not just any functions, not any function I of Z and V of Z can exist on transmission line, but rather only those functions that satisfy the telegraph equations. Okay, it is not any functions will exist, but the function which is satisfy the telegraph equations will be the solution for this lumped model of voltage and current. Okay, so closely observe these two equations. Okay, closely observe these two equations. I'm getting many calls today, I don't know. Fine. Probably that is to live with online. Okay, some the technology, but the concept and importance are same. This again, it will be there for years to come, because even though it is the theory which is developed for around 50 years, even 100 years, maybe 60 years before, it's going to be there forever. Okay, that is no doubt about it. You closely analyze this voltage KVL and KCL law. So the same thing I've written here. Probably, I think you remember. If you remember, I've written this V of Z plus del Z and V of Z comma T, which is equal to minus R Z I of Z comma T and L into Z. There's nothing but, anyone having a doubt with these equations? If you have an inductor, what is the voltage drop across the inductor, or what is the induced EMF across the inductor? Because I have to calculate what is the voltage drop here, what is the voltage drop here, and what is the voltage here, and what is the voltage here. Okay, so the sending end voltage, for example, typically if it is, I'm taking some value, if it is a 5 voltage, if this voltage drop across the resistors, let us take 1 voltage drop across the inductor, let us take 1 voltage. So how much voltage you will get it here? 5 minus 1 minus 1, correct? So we will get 3. Is that correct? So the same thing only I have written. So this is written in a confusing form, probably 3 minus 5, which is equals to, this is how much voltage across this, minus 1 minus 1, correct? So this is minus 2 and equal to minus 2. Is that correct? Okay, if any doubts, you can stop, just stop me and ask me why this I've written in this form. Okay, simple KVL law. The supply voltage equals to consumed voltage, whatever this voltage is, drain voltage. Okay, is that correct? So KCL again typically I can write in this. So with that I will stop now. Probably there is some 7 minutes. You with that we are going to start deriving this basically. What is the voltage and current? We get these telegraph equations. Okay, these telegraph equations we will get it when we solve this. So any doubt in this? Today we have seen starting from this. Okay, distributed elements of lumped element models. Okay, these lumped element models. So with that I'll start writing this voltage and current in the KCL and KVL equations. And what is the difference between lumped and distributed? I've told you the lumped element is the length is very small compared to the wavelength. If length is become higher and higher and comparable to the wavelength, that is distributed elements. So when distributed element, these things will happen: phase change, transit time effect, voltage and current variations will happen. Especially this will happen in the coaxial cable, telephone lines, fiber optics. So I have to model these distributed elements into lumped elements to find out what is going to happen. Okay, probably here. Okay, this is what I'm going to do with that distributed elements. And by making the equivalent lumped element model and trying to write this lumped model as RLGC and try to write KCL and KVL equations and start deriving it, what is the relation between input and output voltage and input and output current. So that is the idea of what going to be. Suppose if I have 5 voltage, how much voltage it will be? What is the relation between input and output voltage, input and output current? So that relations will give me effectively model the distributed components or lumped model of distributed components. That is the telegraph equations. Okay, so with that probably I will stop the session. If any questions, you will start analyzing these two equations. Again I won't I will again repeat it 1 or 2 times so to it makes things clear. So there are some interruptions, so if I think there may be some small no, problem the continuity, but however I'll try to again write it and try to tell in the again coming with this two equation and deriving it. So I hope it has some useful takeaway from this session, and we just analyze these two equations. We will come back again. We will be doing that final finding out the telegraph equation of this. Okay, you write down these equations. If in case if you are able to do it, very good. You already ready for the final SEE question. Okay, so this is one of the very important question in the final SEE paper. If you are able to get these equations out of these two equations, okay, out of these two equations, if you are able to get these two equations, is well and good. And there is slight difference is there. It is not dou, it is a d. Okay. So, however, dou and d, if you are able to get it with that previous two equations, it's very good. Okay. So with that, I'll stop, and this is just note down these two equations. And minus r plus j omega L I of z, g plus j omega c d of z. How to get it from this to this, I will see it in the next class. Okay. So see you then, and take care, and all the best for you. Okay.
इंजेक्शन में मत करो, दर्द में डाला।